Think about it. If he doesn't take that one to the house, are we talking about a 35-31 Detroit Lions win? So I thought that was a huge play at the most opportune time for this Eagles team.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pond Lehocky, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Welcome back to the Pond Lehocky post-game show. I'm Devin Caney. Guys, before we get back into things, let's update you on the Diamond Debate presented by Mark's Jewelers. The question was, did Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts prove his passing game evolved during the Week 1 game? The numbers have changed a bit. Yes is now at 36%, with no 30%, and the rest saying it is too early to tell. Mike?
Yes, I'm looking forward to these reaction tweets, especially on the Jalen Hurts topic. But welcome back to the Pond Lehocky post-game show. The Eagles went 38-35, and a game that they're pretty much in control of, and we sweated it out in the end. Jalen Hurts, 18-32, 243, at a rating of 80.6. Miles Sanders, who we haven't talked about much in this show, 96 yards and a TD on 13 carries. In fact, the Eagles had 4 different guys score rushing touchdowns in this game, including Jalen. So here we go. Let's look at the turning point of this game. And I've got something in my mind, but I'm going to defer because we've got Derek Gunn here and we've got Seth Joyner. Derek, your turning point to that.
My turning point was when Bradbury picked up that pass and took it to the house. I thought that was a definitive turning point in terms of giving the Eagle some much-needed momentum. Think about it. If he doesn't take that one to the house, are we talking about a 35-31 Detroit Lions win? So I thought that was a huge play at the most opportune time for this Eagles team.
Seth, turning point. You agree with that? Because I do. That's also my turning point.
There's no doubt about it.
But let's talk about it because you saw this play. Kyzir White makes the play on the pick, and then Bradbury gets it.
Right.
And you're obviously looking at this, and you go, that's because that guy has cornerback skills and safety skills to make that kind of instinctive play.
Well, listen, we had Nate Geary here for 3 years, and we were trying to transform him from a defensive back to a linebacker. And he showed flashes, and then ultimately, he burned out. But I think at the end of the day, when you look at Kyzir White, the thing that impresses me the most about him is that he's an ex-defensive back who they've transformed, who basically the LA Chargers has transformed into a linebacker. He had a good year last year. We now have got him. But when you look at his skill sets are a lot of the skill sets that you see a defensive back possess. Like that ball that he tipped, the tight end actually ran the wrong route. He ran the right route because in coverage, he was keying the quarterback's eyes and looking where the quarterback was actually throwing the ball, and he got out there and got a hand on it, tipped it. Bradbury intercepts it and runs it back, for 6. But you just don't see a lot of linebackers with that kind of skill set. And I think that I'm really high on him. I'm high on him because he can run, because of his defensive back abilities, but also his ability to have transformed himself into a pretty darn good linebacker against the run and against the pass. And the other thing that he gives the Philadelphia Eagles is that he gives the Eagles a guy who can cover almost any tight end in this league. You can double someone that's giving you a headache and not have to worry about Kyzir on the tight end because he can cover that guy. So there's a lot of versatility that he gives Jonathan Gannon in this defense if Jonathan so chooses to use it.
I have to get to this, the Seth Joyner X-factor. Now, I can predict what it's going to be, but I won't. I'll just let him do it. Let me guess. Does it have something to do with the quarterback?
Hey, listen, absolutely. Because all you got to do is go back to the Lions came out and they marched right down the field, right out the gate. Okay, they get a lead. The whole stadium is buzzing. The Eagles come out 3 and out the first series, and we're sitting there like, oh my God, what's going on? And then the second series, Jalen Hurts comes out, and he starts to cooking. You know, cooking in the sense that they were bringing pressure at him, and he took off and was making plays with his legs. And there must have been like 3 third-down conversions that he had running the ball in that second series that allowed the Eagles to basically go, 13 plays for 82 yards, and then he runs in for the touchdown and he ties it up. I think that kind of equaled things out, and that was a big X factor in the game, because if they don't score that second possession and Detroit comes back and gets a 14-0 lead, we may be looking at a different outcome in this ball game today.
The drive of the game probably is what you just mentioned. I have a little different spin on that, but they had a couple of really good quality drives,
yes.
and they got ahead, and the Lions would catch up a little bit. So for me, the drive of the game was when they get the ball right back down after the failed onside kick, and they get to 38, which
yes.
kind of puts the game out of reach.
Yes.
And they got a key penalty there, but they also got Jalen scrambles for a first down on that drive, and they got in.
You know, I know Detroit led the league last year in recovering onside kicks, but I thought after scoring a touchdown, why would you try the onside kick at that particular point? You gave them a short field, they went down the field and scored a touchdown. You gave them the ball at the 49-yard line. They nitpicked their way all the way down the field. You put the momentum right back in the Eagles' wheelhouse.
Plenty of game left, too, when they did
There's
that.
plenty of game left. We can sit here and second-guess coaches all day, but that's one of the moves, especially from Detroit, a team trying to change its image that I'm going to nitpick about for the next day or so, because at that particular time, there's always a time and place for an onside kick. I just thought that was not the time for it.
To me, it's pretty boneheaded when you really stop and think about it, because you give up. I mean, come on. There's a reason why bad teams are bad, and I understand the new mentality to be aggressive to try to change the outcome of the situation that you're in. But to your point, D, they had just scored a touchdown.
Yes.
Why are you going to give your opponents the ball at midfield in that situation where, you know, you just kind of climbed back into the game?
Yes.
It just didn't make any sense to me. And then when you look at a guy like, you know, you look at a guy like Dan Campbell, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, all of that bravado that you see, you know, at the end of the day, how much has this team actually changed? How much has it really changed?
Yeah.
I mean, and at some point, that bravado, the players kind of get tired of it. It grows old, and then we start to hear the reports that, oh, you know, the coach has lost the team. And then from there, it's just a matter of time.
I wanted to ask you about Dan Campbell, because you're right. It's typical Dan Campbell, flex his muscles and try an onside kick there. But this is a team that he's trying to bring toughness to, right? I mean, you saw it in Hard Knocks. He's trying to bring toughness, and he's that type of guy. But you're right. I think it will eventually, when they get good, if they get good, will wear on veterans who are key players on that team. He can have control of the young minds at this time, right? But the veterans, if you do not win, they won 3 times last year, and if you continue not to win this year, those veterans bail out on it.
Hey, listen, you're 100% correct. It's easy for the young guys to buy in because they're just trying to be a part of the big picture. The issue comes with the veteran guys who's been around before, and for them it's all about the wins and the losses. If you're not stacking more wins than you are losses, then they're going to get to the point where they're like, hey, you know what? This guy, you know, he's getting up in the meetings. He's got all this false bravado. He's got these pants that he's shaking out with all this dust in it, all this old dust, you know, that he's talking about the history of the franchise. I don't care about that. The only thing I care about is wins and losses. And if this guy can't help me get to more wins than losses, then at some point in time, they turn a deaf ear to all of that information that you hear.
I will say this, though, and I don't disagree with you. But look at the way the game played itself out. 31-14, 38-21. Because of the losing mindset this team has had, they very easily could have rolled over and called it a day. This team scrapped tooth and nail to get back in this game and made the Eagles sweat a little bit until the bitter end. Now, I know it's only the first game of the season, the adrenaline, you're still trying to change your identity, but a lot of those guys could have said, you know what, here we go again. Same old, Dan Campbell, you rah-rah, and not even try. Sometimes we forget that some of these guys, even though they're making 7 figures, Seth, a lot of times they don't put out max effort, man, when things are going bad. They take the paycheck and run. I got to give them credit for at least making a game of it today. Now, if that continues, you're right. A lot of these guys may start cashing it in. It's going to fall on deaf ears. But at least, even though they lost, they go to that locker room and say, you know what? This team is one of the teams picked to win not only a division but possibly go deep into the playoffs. We came back and gave them heck for 4 quarters.
It's really difficult for me to give them that kind of credit, but you're right. Because that franchise is just god-awful, and they proved year after year they're god-awful. But you're right. They showed some fight today. Surprised all of us that they kept coming back. Because once they got ahead by 2 touchdowns, I thought that they were going to pack it.
I'm sorry. I can't. I
Really?
don't agree, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there was still football left to be played. And that's what football players do. No matter what the score is,
some do.
You're going to play.
Some players do.
I understand that. But when you pull back the way that Jonathan Gannon pulled back, and you give Jared Goff the opportunity to be comfortable in his skin again, then that's what you're going to get. If you're going to play soft and give up, you're going to give up real estate. Well, guess what? The quarterback's going to take the real estate.
Right, as we
the
go,
other players are going to take, the statistics.
Seth, as we go into the break, then this begs this question here. We were all looking for Jonathan Gannon to be different, to be more aggressive, ultra aggressive. Can we back off knowing that they were in charge of this game and that influenced how Detroit got back in the game, or should we still be worried about the fact that he's not aggressive?
Oh, no.
I just think that, aggression is a mindset, and it's really up to the coaches, the coaching staff to set the stage. And you can see it in how they play sometimes, in their tackling and how they approach in situational football. There are times where the play calling is really, really, really passive, and they play really, really, really passive. I don't think there's ever a time in my 13 years of playing where I saw a cornerback, 10 yards off the ball on second and 8. You just can't play that way. I mean, even if that's where you want to end up, don't start there. Start and press, and then when the quarterback gets in his case, then you can bail and get to 10. But you can't stand there because pre-snap, what is the quarterback saying? Oh, I can get 8 yards like that right now.
So the conclusion is Gannon's still under the microscope. Jalen is not.
Listen, it's week 1. The entire deal is the whole team is still under the microscope. It's only week 1. I'm not going to start hanging tags on guys yet. Even Nick Sirianni is still under the microscope.
All right. So, are you feeling overall really fuzzy about this game? You feeling fuzzy wonderful?
Hey, listen, you only get 17 of them, in 52 weeks, and the Eagles have traditionally started off really slow. 1-3, 2-5, 2-4. So if they can get a victory week 1 and go into Monday night and figure out a way to get another victory, then it's all good, because I want to see them get off to a good start to begin so that they're not scrapping at the end of the season trying to figure out where they're going to be in the mix.
They will get a bigger test next Monday night. Right?
There's no question about that. When you look at the wealth of talent, that team has the Minnesota Vikings on both sides of the football, a much stiffer test. I guarantee you the Vikings are going to look at what Detroit did, especially defensively, and try to emulate some of the things that they did in this game today. But I always say this. We will sit here every week, as will a lot of post-game shows, whether it's television or radio. Win, lose, or draw, and we're going to break it down. We're going to find positives, and we're going to find negatives. I don't care how you win a game. I don't care if it's a fumble rooski. I don't care if it's a triple ricochet off a goalpost. If the team that you want to win is on the winning side of that ledger, the bottom line, that's all that matters.
Just win. Like Al Davis said, just win.
Just win, baby.
I don't think any Eagle fan thought the Eagles weren't going to win this game. Normally, when the team creeps up a little bit, you go, oh, here we go again. I think everybody was confident. We were all confident. They weren't going to lose this game.
Well, listen, I know some people who felt like it would have been great for them to actually lose this first game.
No.
If you can imagine that.
Why would that be?
Hey, listen, there are media people that was like, the media frenzy that this would cause if the Eagles lost the first game of the season. And I looked at them, I'm like, That's pretty dastardly to wish that upon, the team.
That's terrible. That's
on,
terrible.
man.
Now I was looking at Twitter. There were some panicky people on Twitter, like there normally are when something goes wrong. Right away, people jump out on Twitter. Oh, here we go again with this team. But no, they were pretty comfortable. All right, so here's we're gonna check in with our own John McMullen. He's covering the game for us out there in Detroit at Ford Field. We'll hear from him. We'll hear from Jalen. Not Jalen. We'll hear from Devin. And then Jalen, hopefully later.
Jalen, Devin.
Yeah, Jalen. I can't get my eyes.
That happens all the
I can't
time.
take my eyes off that diamond necklace she's wearing. It's blinding me. But she'll be interviewing some people in the crowd.
She better have a Brinks truck here to get her out of here.
Dr. Bruce is going to join us. We'll get some injury updates maybe and get his opinion on what he saw in this game and some possible injuries. It is the Pond Lehocky post-game show. We are live on 6abc.com and also the JAKIB Media Sports YouTube channel. We're not going anywhere. We'll be back after this.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pond Lehocky, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.